Welcome to my phone call generator system, how to get your phone to ring off the hook with prospects. I'm really excited to show you this today because I really believe this is one of the simplest and easiest ways to get your phone to ring without having to do any cold calling or visiting businesses or being hung up on or anything like that. And I want you to follow my instructions in detail because this can work for you. And this can work for you if you're a local consultant of some type, providing marketing consulting, or even if you have another type of business that does phone sales or needs a steady stream of leads, this can work for you. So you could even use this for if you get clients, you could even use this for your clients if they fit some of the criteria that I'm about to show you. And the first criteria that's really important is that is this system only works for business to business leads. So this doesn't work for business to consumer B2C type situation. This is really important because actually to use this phone call generator system on a B2C prospect, a business to consumer prospect, is actually illegal. But to use it for a B2B prospect, in other words, to call another business to sell your services or products, it is totally legal. Now, again, I'm not an attorney, so you might want to consult an attorney about this specific system to get the actual legal details of this. But overall, the important thing to remember is that this is a business to business only system. So you're selling your services or your products to another business. And the reason for that is a big part of how this works is ringless voicemail drops. Now, that's not the entire system, but that is part of the system. We use ringless voicemail drops. And let me explain to you what that is. Here we are looking at the inside of my account. You can see I just ran a quick report. We've got 909 calls went out. 761 voicemails were dropped and 148 were failed. So this, what a ringless voicemail drop is, and what you're looking at is a report of some ringless voicemail drops. And what it is it goes directly to the prospect's voicemail. Their phone does not ring at all. You're leaving a voicemail directly into their voicemail box without their phone ever ringing. So the only sound they'll hear on their phone is that little notification, if they have a little notification sound that comes up when a new voicemail has been left on their system. And usually what happens is people hear that little sound and say, hey, that's weird, I got a voicemail. I didn't hear the phone ring. Let me check and see who that was. And then they hear your pitch. Now, the powerful thing about this is that it doesn't interrupt them. You know, usually cold calling is interrupting the caller, and most of the time people don't appreciate it, and it can be a tough way to sell. Now, I know there's people that live and die by cold calling, but the nice thing about this is they can listen to the voicemail at their leisure, and there's virtually no way to tell that it was an automated voicemail that was left. So you can leave a voicemail on hundreds and hundreds, even thousands of people's voicemail boxes, and they will think that you called them individually and left them a voicemail one to one. And there's really no way, as long as you make the recording the way I show you, there's really no way that they'll be able to tell that it was a bulk message. So you literally load up your numbers and press go, and it goes, the system automatically leaves voicemails on all those people's numbers. Now I'm going to get into the detail of exactly how you can set this up. In another video I get into a lot of detail of the actual system and how to do the voicemail drops. That isn't the whole system though, so don't stop the video at this point. There's more to it to really get the most out of these prospects. Now after we do this voicemail drop, we wait a day or two, and then we follow it up with an automated message of some other kind using either Yelp or email or through a contact form like you see here. And depending on your specific campaign, I'll recommend to you which direction you need to take. And what you do then is you send them a simple follow-up message like this. Did you get my voicemail that I left for you yesterday about XYZ, whatever the service or whatever the subject was of the voicemail? Call me back, let me know, or you could say email me back, let me know. And this secondary follow-up is really powerful too. We've gotten sometimes we've gotten just as many follow-up responses as we did from the original voicemail drop just by sending this. And you can see how this works together. It confirms to them, even if they had some doubt that your voicemail is real, when they get an email from you the next day, or a message, or a contact form message the next day, or a Yelp message, whatever it is, it confirms to them, wow, this person actually called me on the phone, and it really makes it a lot more personal. And it makes you stand out, that secondary touch. And you can actually do follow up, touch as many times as you want. We've really mainly been testing like a 1-2 punch type setup, and this works really well because not only does this work for making you look personal, but in some cases they didn't get the voicemail, or maybe the voicemail didn't go through. Because if you look at the calling report, this blue thing is an example. There's about 16% in this particular case of voicemails that did not go through. 148, 761 were left. 148 did not go through. Maybe the number was incorrect, or the number on the list had a missing digit, or the voicemail box was full, or something like that. And so in that case, you can, since you already worked to get these people on your list, you have a chance to contact them. Some of the responses we got were like, "Hey, no, I didn't get a voicemail. What can I what are you offering here?" And gave us a chance to pitch them, even though they didn't even get a voicemail. So it works to get these folks contacting you and allowing you a chance to sell yourself in both of those ways. And actually, I love the contact form messaging that I'm going to show you, because you're outside of the canned spam laws. Now, again, I'm not an attorney, this is not legal advice, but for the most part, contact forms like this are not inside of the canned spam laws, so you're free to actually message people unsolicited through contact forms. Again, consult an attorney to get the legal specifics of this, but it's a lot safer to use contact forms than to direct email people. And we also do this through Yelp as well, and I'll show you all the details of that. So here's a step-by-step overview of how this works. The first step in the process is going to be to obtain the phone numbers. We're going to show you how to do this for free. You're not going to have to pay for lists or anything like that. And you're going to be able to target specific groups of prospects. So part of this step is deciding what service are you offering, and what specific group of prospects would like to hear about this service. And then we're going to show you how to go out and obtain numbers, lists of numbers for people that fit that market that you're targeting. Again, you're not going to have to pay anything for these phone numbers. Now, the one requirement for these phone numbers that you have to think about is that this system only works on cell phones. So landline voicemail systems don't work for this specific ringless voicemail drop technique that I'm going to show you. Now, I know there is technology out there to drop voicemails on landlines, and usually the way it works is it does calls, two simultaneous calls at the same time. So the first call goes out, and the receiver picks up the phone and sees, and either hears nothing or hears a message like, "Sorry, I got the wrong number." While the receiver has picked up the phone and is sitting there with the phone off the hook, so to speak, the system immediately calls again the exact same number, and since the line is busy at that moment, then the second number actually goes to voicemail. So there is technology that can do that. We don't cover that in this course. That might be something I'll cover later on here in the members area. But for now, we're going to focus on businesses where you can reach them by cell phone. So you have to think about business owners where they would use a cell phone number as their main business phone. There's a lot of business owners that do this. If you think about it, we've done a lot of voicemail drops for service area companies, because service area companies usually are out and about all day, and frequently they have a cell phone, as their business phone. A lot of businesses use a cell phone as their business phone anyway, even though they could use a landline. It's just more convenient. Anybody that's in sales, now you'd be surprised, even people like for instance, I've done voicemail drops with attorneys, and you'd be surprised at how many attorneys list a cell phone as their main business phone. So we're going to show you in another video a tool where you can actually upload, you can actually get a list of numbers and upload the list, and it'll tell you exactly what percentage of that list is cell phones, and that can help you to figure out if that's a market that you want to target using this technique. But anyway, the first step there is to obtain the phone numbers, and we're going to show you how to do that. Second step is to record a voicemail message that these folks are going to hear, and we're going to give you all the details on that as well. I highly encourage it to be a short message that has either something free or just some reason for them to call you back. We've done things like saying, hey, I offer this service. I can offer you 20% discount over the current people that you're using for this service. Or I've done things like saying, hey, I noticed that you had some bad reviews on your Yelp page or on your Google page. I specialize in fixing reputation management type situations and fixing people's reputation. Give me a call back. Short messages like that do best, that really get them to call so you can actually get them on the phone to sell them. But anyway, we're going to get into all those details of recording the voicemail. Then you're going to upload the numbers to this specific system that I'm going to show you. You're going to send out the broadcast. And you want to make sure that you send out this broadcast at a time when you can receive calls, because these calls do come in and they come in fast. Like some of the examples that I gave during this, I don't know if you saw any of the sales videos for this package, but these calls really can come in fast. So you want to make sure it's a time where you can actually receive calls. You also want to think about, is this a time when the prospect would listen to their voicemail? That's the best time to catch them. So for instance, with limo drivers, we did it around 10:30, 11 a.m., something like that, when most of them were done with their morning runs and they hadn't yet gone out for any kind of evening events where they were providing limo services. It's a time when there was downtime. We actually made a mistake one time and we sent out voicemails to landscapers during a time when most of them would have been working, and we did get some calls back, but a lot of those calls came back later on and there wasn't nearly as good of a response because we didn't pick a good time. So you want to pick a good time for the broadcast, both when you'll be able to sit there and receive calls for a good few hours, and also a time when your prospect would be likely to check their voicemail. The more urgent, when they hear that voicemail beep on their phone that they received the message and they check it and they call you right then, that's going to be one of the best times to sell right then. Then we encourage you to wait a couple of days, maybe one day, maybe two. I mean, if it's a really hot market, you could follow up within the same day, but it really works to wait 1 or 2 days, give them a chance to actually check their voicemail and listen to it. Then you're going to send a follow-up, which can either be by a contact form or Yelp messaging or some other way. There's even ways that you can actually send a follow-up voicemail to the exact same group. We'll show you all that. But this follow-up is a powerful way to squeeze even more sales out of that initial group, because you spend some time obtaining the numbers and figuring out what your target market was going to be, crafting an offer that would work for them, and something to put on the voicemail and all that. You spend a lot of time targeting that market, getting a list of people, and so you want to squeeze as many sales as possible out of that group so you can send a follow-up with that. And we've had times where we did the follow-up came back. We said, "Hey, message me back." On Yelp, the nice thing about doing it on Yelp is if they reply to your follow-up, if you say, "Hey, did you get my voicemail?" and they reply at all, you ought to already know from their reply what the best number is to call them, because on Yelp you can just click through to their business listing and get their business phone number and say, hey, just got a message from you on Yelp. I thought I would just give you a call. And everything is immediate, relevant, quick, and fresh when you do things this way. And I'm telling you, this double 1-2 punch follow-up system is really, really powerful, and especially the voicemail drops works really well to get your phone to ring. So I want you to go through each of the videos in this system. I'm going to have videos on each one of these parts of the system. to show you exactly how to set up each part. Make sure you watch all the videos and follow them in detail and wait for your phone to ring with hot prospects ready to purchase your services and products.
So there are more searches in Google coming from mobile devices now than coming from desktop PCs. And if that's not a good enough reason to get your website mobile ready, then there's also the fact that Google now considers mobile friendliness as a ranking factor for websites that are showing up in Google's mobile search engine results page. And so these factors are providing an opportunity for prospecting to clients whose websites or potential clients whose websites are not mobile friendly and who you can pitch making their website mobile friendly for them. And so I'm going to talk about how to find those people. And the first step is to choose your niche and some target keyword phrases. So whatever type of websites you may want to, whatever type of businesses you may want to target, you want to choose some keyword phrases in that niche. And the way I recommend that you find those keyword phrases is by using the AdWords keyword tool. So I'm just going to go to adwords.google.com and I'm going to sign in. You do need to have an AdWords account in order to use the keyword tool. You don't need to be actually advertising through AdWords, but you do need to have an account with billing set up, and then you just don't run any ads and you have access to the keyword tool at that point. When you first sign into your AdWords account, you're going to see a sort of a dashboard page, but what you want to do is click on Tools and go down to Keyword Planner. And I'll go ahead and start over with a new search. And you're going to want to search for new keyword and ad group ideas. And so you can add one keyword phrase, a couple keyword phrases, whatever you need to do. I'm going to choose just auto repair. I'm just going to add that one and then set up your targeting for whatever works for you, what the businesses that you're going to be specifically targeting. And you click on Get Ideas. And then when this comes up, you want to click on Keyword Ideas. And you'll see a bunch of keywords come up that are related to the keyword phrase you entered. And you can sort them by average monthly searches because we're looking for keyword phrases that are going to make a fairly strong pitch to a prospective client. The number of searches that are happening on this keyword phrase is going to affect, how strong your pitch is when you say, you're in danger of dropping out of the rankings here. For this specific search. Now you may also want to bear in mind competition if you're looking to kind of make them a long-term SEO client, for example, then you might want to consider competition as well, but especially you want to make sure that you're getting a lot of monthly searches. And you also could consider how many of those searches are mobile, and these are things you can find out in the keyword planner as well. Once you've decided on some keyword phrases or you're choosing the keyword phrases that you like, you just click over here to add them to your plan. And you can just run down the list and grab a bunch of keyword phrases, let's say 10 to 20 keyword phrases. You may not necessarily use them all, but it's a bit of a numbers game when you're prospecting. So having a lot of keyword phrases that you're going to be looking at for prospects is better. And then once you've got them added over here, you can actually just copy them to your clipboard and put them in a text file or something like that. And that's it. That's all we're using the keyword planner for, is for getting some target keyword phrases, which we are then going to use to find websites that are not mobile friendly. And the way you're going to do that is with this free tool called the Mobile Friendly Search Engine Results Page Testing Tool. So that's at Rank. That's a ranktank.org tool. You can see I just did a search here. If you don't find it at this URL, I just did a search for RankTank Mobile SERP Testing Tool, and it came up right away. So you're going to want to download that. It's available for Windows or Mac. And when you open it up, it's going to look something like this, and I'm going to have to slide it back and forth a little bit so that you can see everything. But you can see it allows you to run a search on a specific domain, but that's not what we're going to do. We're going to actually run it by query. So all those keyword phrases that you got from the keyword planner, and you just have them saved in a text file or in a note somewhere, you're going to start running those through this tool. And so I'm going to start with my first one, just for example, auto repair, and I click run the query. And what it's going to do is it's going to scrape those Google's mobile search engine results page and give you a bunch of information about all the results. Specifically, we're going to be collecting the URL, and then also we're going to be just collecting that for those that are not mobile friendly. So you can see if I click to sort by mobile friendly and put all the non-mobile friendly results at the top, you can see that there are actually quite a few here that are showing up in the top 100 results for mobile that are not mobile friendly. And these are the sites that you want to target. But the way you're going to do that is simply, I got to slide this up so that you can see here. I'm showing you how you can sort it here in the tool, but what we're actually going to do is export that data. We're going to export that as a CSV, and you're going to do that for each target keyword phrase. You may want to keep an eye on how many non-mobile friendly sites are showing up, because that's going to let you know how many of these target keyword phrases should I run through before I decide, okay, I think I've got enough websites here. But you want to run through quite a few. You want to have a lot of websites to target, basically. And for each keyword phrase that you enter in here and run the query, you get 100 results, and then you export that data and you get a CSV for each one. Now here's the CSV for auto repair in particular, and I've just opened it in an Excel-like spreadsheet program. I've got this spreadsheet open, and you can see it's got all the same columns and stuff, but what I can do here is select all the results, and I'm going to sort this data. And so I'm going to sort it by mobile friendly. And what that does is it puts all the non-mobile friendly results at the very bottom. So if I scroll down to the bottom here, I can see here are all the results that showed up in the top 100 for the search auto repair that are not mobile friendly. And when they're not mobile friendly, it's simply a blank space in the mobile friendly column. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new spreadsheet, and I'm going to create two columns in this spreadsheet. I'm going to say keyword phrases and URL. Okay, and then I can just grab all the URLs that are not mobile friendly. I'm going to copy them, and I'm going to paste them in the URL column. So there's all my URLs, and then the keyword phrase is auto repair. And so this is just a way that I'm organizing my my spreadsheet here. And so now I can go through each spreadsheet of results from the RankTank mobile SERP testing tool and copy the non-mobile friendly URLs, and if you want to, the keyword phrase as well, which is useful to have, into a new spreadsheet, so that I have a new spreadsheet full of just the websites that are not mobile friendly. Here's an example of my finished spreadsheet. And so you can see I've got my keyword phrase column, I've got my URL column, and then I also I used a free tool online just to cut this down to just the website. So I also have just the website here in another column, because this is the list of websites now that I'm gonna want to prospect to. And I added just one other thing I did to this particular spreadsheet is I have another sheet that has a list of the websites with no duplicates. So I also just used a free tool online to take my complete list of websites and just remove any of the duplicates from it. And so you can see my keyword phrase organized list, which has duplicates in it, is 341 websites. And when I took that and removed the duplicates, I wound up with a list of 287. So 287 non-duplicated websites if you're going to be doing some kind of prospecting to the entire list, or if you want to be doing prospecting by keyword phrase in some kind of way and you don't mind having those duplicates, then I have this list which does have some dupes, but I have it cut down also just to the website. So this is your list now of websites. You can see I've got 286, 287 total websites that are showing up in the mobile search engine results right now but they are not mobile friendly. And so they're in danger of losing their rankings. Um, or maybe they're lower in the rankings right now than they could be if they would improve that. And so it's a great list of websites whose owners you can reach out to and contact in order to talk to them about making their website mobile friendly. I've had a number of people talking about the RankTank mobile-friendly SERP testing tool not working for them. There are some comments on this page, and I've had some people in the Cache Club also talking about it. And I wanted to give you a workaround if this tool isn't working for you. Now, I do recommend that you really try to get it working because if you can. It worked for me on my Mac, and it works for me on my Dell, which is running Windows 7. So I know it's working for some people on Windows, but it's also not working for others. And so this workaround is not as efficient, basically, but I did want to give you another option, and so here it is. This workaround uses two tools, two free tools, and the first one you probably know already, which is SEO Quake. Um, and we're using SEO Quake only because it has the ability to export um, Google search engine results as a CSV file. That's the reason we don't need to use it to get any kind of parameters or anything if you've ever used it before. So I'm going to show you the first step using SEO Quake, and you can see I have SEO Quake in my toolbar here, and if it's gray, it's not running, and if it's colored, it is. And this might change. You know, it used to be down in the lower right-hand corner of your browser window, and now it's up here and something like that. But it's always been something like this, and if it's colored, it's running. With SEO Quake running, if I go to google.com and do a search, this auto repair is the search I've been doing as an example most of the time, and I search auto repair. I've been doing a lot of searches testing, so Google isn't sure whether I'm a person or not. This comes up. All of the search engine results have some SEO Quake info there, and you can see, you can, I always have SEO Quake set not to get any parameters unless I request. And I recommend that because it hits a lot of different services, including Google, many times if it's constantly requesting parameters for you without you saying. So I recommend that you keep that off. You can manage that in the SEO Quake settings or preferences. Um, so the one thing you want to make sure when you're doing the search is that you have your Google settings set so that you get 100 results. You can see I'm at 99 here. You want to have 100 results on your search engine results page, and you don't have to even request parameters. You're just going to save it to file. It's going to warn you and say not all the data are loaded, but that's fine because all we want actually is the URLs. So I'm going to say OK, and it's going to let me save it. I'm just going to drop this down on my desktop. I've already done this once to try to make sure that I had this all set up. So you can see I've already got auto repair in there. So I'm going to save that, and then I'm going to open that auto repair file in a spreadsheet. And it looks like it's a semicolon. So I'm opening this. You can open it in Excel. I have a different spreadsheet program, but basically what you want is for it to give you, you're going to see all the URLs here. Now we have a list of URLs that are showing up for that keyword phrase, and now we need to know which are mobile friendly. And for that, there is a free tool you can use online, and it is at urlitor.com/mobile. The reason that this is not as efficient as RankTank is because you can only do 20 at a time here. Okay, and so the way I recommend that you do this, I'm going to grab the first 20, and I'm going to copy them. I'm going to go ahead and paste those in here. Hit submit. And then actually, while it's working, I can just open it again. I'm not sure how many times you can do this, just opening it up again and grabbing the next 20 before maybe it's going to cause you problems. I don't quite know. In fact, it's taking a long time to load, so maybe that won't work so well for me. But in any case, it's checking these 20 for me right now. Okay, and it shows a bunch of info for you here, but that's not what you want. What you actually want is copy to spreadsheet view. Now you can try downloading a CSV if you want. Um, I found this download CSV button was not working for me. But in the copy to spreadsheet view, if I click on all of this and copy it, and then I go back into my spreadsheet program and I set up a new spreadsheet. Now in my spreadsheet program, if I paste just a regular old paste, any kind of like tab delimited info, it's going to give me this interface. In yours, you may need to do a special kind of paste to get it to do this for you, to give you this interface where you can say, okay, the information is tab delimited. I hit OK, and you can see, okay, a few of these timed out, but a bunch of them did come up, and this is where it says whether they're mobile friendly or not. And then I can keep doing that. So um, I can grab the next 20 and copy those, go back, and I can go into either the same window or a new window with it open, a new tab with it open, however you want to do it, depending on what's going to be fastest for you. And so I'm going to submit that. When my next results come up, one of the reasons that the spreadsheet view is nice is that you can actually just keep pasting those into the same new spreadsheet file that you're dealing with. So as soon as these results come up for me, I'm going to grab them and just copy them right below these other results. So you can sort of, even though you can only do 20 at a time, you can just keep grabbing your results, copying them, and then I go in here, I can paste my next set. You'll see it gives me a second set of headers, and I can just delete that row. And so as you can see, it's not as fast as the rank tank tool, but 20 at a time, you can check these. And then once you have a bunch of results in here, if I select all my results, I can sort the data. First, I'm going to sort it by status. I'm going to sort it ascending. And then I want to sort it by mobile friendly. I'm going to sort that descending. Okay. And so then what I have here is it puts all my status, all my web pages that actually returned a result are at the top. And then my mobile friendly is there, and then here are my non-mobile friendly. And so if you had a huge list here, you had just been copying and pasting them in, pasting them and pasting them in, then you could organize it all and you would have your list here of non-mobile friendly sites. I would also just mention that this is a really repetitive task that has very specific instructions and so could quite easily be outsourced if you have outsourcers, or even handed off to someone you know who just doesn't make as much money per hour as you do. You don't necessarily have to be outsourcing this to, the Philippines or something. If you have a sharp high school student that you know and you want to pay them, $8 to $10 per hour to do a bunch of this research for you, and they're quick, they could get a lot done for you as well. So that's just another thing to think about. Um, and so that is the workaround using, again, just to mention, SEOquake tool, which is an add-on for Firefox, and then also the urliter.com/mobile, which is a bulk mobile-friendly test. You can check 20 websites at a time to get yourself some results of some non-mobile friendly websites.
Phone call generator system video. We are talking in this video about recording your voicemail message, that is recording the actual voicemail that is going to be left on the phone of your prospect. So we've obtained our numbers, we've decided on our target market. You also need to decide what is the pitch that you're going to give them. What are you going to actually be selling this group of people? I would encourage you to make it as targeted as possible to their specific niche market. You want to mention, if it's plumbers, you want to mention this is specifically for plumbers. You're a specialist in marketing for plumbers. Um, all those things need to be in the voicemail. Now, I encourage folks, you have to make the voicemail under 60 seconds. That's your limit. If you can make it shorter than 60 seconds, that's even better, just in case it gets cut off by the user system, by the recipient when they get the voicemail. They might only allow a 45-second message, or who knows. You want to make it as short as you possibly can, and giving them as much info as you can. Make it sound colloquial. Okay, make it sound natural. Make it sound like one friend calling another. You don't want it to be professional. You don't want it to sound like it was recorded by a professional recording artist. You want it to be just like you were a friend calling them up. Now, you have a couple choices here. First of all, you can record a message that is very general and gets a lot of callbacks, but those callbacks might not be targeted. So that would be if you're a person that likes to sell on the phone, you want to get as many phone calls as possible, even if the people aren't necessarily ready to buy, you want to try to talk them into it. So that would be like a general message like, hey, I noticed something about your website, call me back, phone number. So it would make sure the only people calling you then would be people with websites, but that would be it. And they would have no idea why they're calling you back. Those sorts of messages can get you a lot of callbacks, but they're not necessarily people that are going to buy something. You can make a general message that offers something free, like a free coupon, a free discount, a free mobile upgrade, something free you can offer. That'll also get a lot of phone calls back, but they won't necessarily be people that would be interested in buying something. Or you can go the other route and you can pre-qualify them to be somebody that's actually going to buy something. So this would be like a message where you actually mention that the only reason why they would call you back would be to purchase a service. For instance, I've used a voicemail that got good response where I said, hey, I noticed you had a lot of negative Yelp reviews. I specialize in fixing this. If you'd like to hire me to do that, call me back. That's an example of a qualification message that would say, that would make sure they're calling you back because they want to buy something, they want to obtain a service. So you're going to get fewer calls then, but the calls are going to be more interested, pre-qualified to actually buy something. We've also promised a discount, so that also sort of pre-qualifies people that are actually going to buy something, but they're going to buy it at a discount. For we had a voicemail where we said, call me back, I can save you 20% over your competitors, so that they already had a service they were paying for, and we were offering them a guaranteed discount if they call back. So that's also qualifying people. Only people that are actually currently paying for a service and are willing to pay for a service are going to call back in that case. So you really have a choice. More calls of more general nature, or fewer calls that are more targeted. It really depends on your preferences, your selling style, and your skills and your resources. Now, a couple of things you always want to mention. I always encourage you to mention your name. So I'm Chad, and I'm calling because I noticed that your website is not mobile friendly. I can very quickly and easily get you a website, mobile friendly website, blah, blah, blah. I had my name in there. And then at the end, you want to put your phone number. Call me back, 773-336-7388. And I've also said call or text me back. We've actually had people text back. Because remember, we're on mobile phones here. We're on a mobile device. So a lot of times, a smartphone, you can actually just click on the voicemail and you can just text a person. And that might be actually easier for a prospect to do than to call you. So you can say, if you're interested, text me back, and I can send you a free blah blah a free coupon, or I'll text you back a free coupon, or whatever. If your phone number takes text messages, you can say call or text me back. But either way, you want to make sure to include your number. Say the number, even though they'll have the number on the caller ID. You want to say the number, and you also want to keep it under 60 seconds. Now you can use Audacity. It's a free software. You can see the domain right there, the URL to download it, and you can actually just do a Google search for our Audacity recording software or whatever. It's a free software that you can record from any microphone or headset that plugs into your computer. It's really easy to use, and I'm not going to go through it right now because it's so simple. But you basically are just going to press, you can see this little red record button. You're going to press that record button, and it's going to start recording from your mic. And then you're going to press the stop button, and it's going to stop the recording. Very simple, right? And then you export that as a WAV file, WAV, or you could export it as an MP3 file as well, and upload it to your ringless voicemail system, which we're going to cover in another video. If you want some tutorials on how to use Audacity, you can just go to YouTube and type in Audacity tutorials. There's a ton of great tutorials for free on this software, so I'm not going to do one here. But it's a great free piece of software you can use to record the voicemails. Just make sure it's under 60 seconds. If you make it even less, like 45, that's even better. And try to offer them either something free or a discount or something, a significant reason to call you back, and make sure that you mention in that voicemail the specific target market. So you could say like, I'm a marketing specialist, specializes in helping plumbers get more leads. So then you're speaking right directly to them. Make it as colloquial and as normal, friend to friend as possible. And the last tip is women's voices tend to get more callbacks. So if your wife can do it, or your sister or someone can record it for you, sometimes that can be helpful as well. Again, you're gonna have to test it with your specific market. Now, don't worry. You're probably gonna do a couple of these. They might not work that well. There's a little bit of a learning curve to getting the right pitch and getting the right message out there. But once you hit one, you can do it over and over and over for many, many different markets or many different cities, same market. So get out there, record some record a voicemail out there, and then you can go to the next step of uploading the numbers to the ringless voicemail system. Okay, this is another video on how to obtain phone numbers for your ringless voicemail drop. We're right up here in the upper left box there of the process. You have to be able to obtain numbers in order to do these ringless voicemail drops. And today we're going to talk about some software that I made that looks really simple, but underneath there are a lot of gears turning to make this do what it does. And basically, you have any file at all that is full of websites. For instance, here's a group of websites that I scraped from the Rank Tank mobile prospecting tool. It actually lets you know that all these websites here are not mobile friendly. We've talked about that in other videos, but anyway, the point is I've got this CSV file. All it is a list of auto repair shops that do not have mobile friendly websites. And what this software does is when I load this ranktank.csv file right here into the software, so I click choose file, and then I choose that CSV that I just showed you, and then I click run, it's actually going to go and visit each one of these websites in the list, and it's going to look for anywhere on the website where they have a phone number listed or an email address, and it's going to scrape that information and put it into a nice little Excel spreadsheet for you to use. And then you can also import that into your ringless voicemail drop system to leave voicemails for all of these auto repair people. Now again, you want to think about, is this specific market, say auto repair, are they the types of people that would have a cell phone as their main business phone? And as long as the answer is yes, then you can scrape them. Then once the software is done, you click save, and it'll save that file for you containing the phone numbers of all of these businesses that you can put into your ringless voicemail drop to leave them messages. Now, the powerful thing is there's a lot of ways that you can obtain a list like this. Now, we have another video that talks about using the Rank Tank tool, where you can identify websites that are not mobile friendly, and then you can leave them a simple voicemail that says, hey, I noticed your website is not mobile friendly when you look at it on a mobile device. Did you know Google's currently penalizing websites and Google's not sending as much traffic to websites that are not mobile friendly. I know how to fix this. I can fix it really quickly and inexpensively for you. Give me a call back, 773-336, and just give your number. Powerful, all right? But there's other ways you can obtain lists of websites like this that you can put into my software to scrape the phone numbers off of it. And one of the ways is if you install SEO Quick, and a lot of you guys have heard me talk about this before, you can actually you install it works on Firefox or Chrome, so you install the plugin, and then after you install the plugin, I'm not going to go through that, but there's a little icon here that you can click on. You can disable it if you want, as long as the icon has color to it and is not grayed out. The plugin is currently active. And then when you do a search like Plumber Chicago, um, it allows you, see this show as CSV option, you can actually download all this data as a CSV file, and it will include the actual website in that CSV. So you'll actually be downloading your entire um, list of websites that show up from Plumbers Chicago. Now you have to do them a page at a time. So you'll have to go to the bottom here and change it so that it doesn't show just 10 plumbers, but it shows 100 at a time, and then download each CSV 100, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you get up to 1,000 or however many pages you want to do it on. That's another way that you can get a huge number of websites that you can then import into that software that I showed you earlier, and my software will then scrape all those websites for phone numbers and emails that you can use. You can also use Scrapebox. If you own Scrapebox, which I really think most SEO people should own a copy of Scrapebox. This is not a Scrapebox tutorial, so I'm not going to go into the details of it, but Scrapebox can scrape for you tens of thousands of websites from a couple of, just from a few searches like this. You give it a few keyword phrases, and you can give it 10 keyword phrases, and it can get you tens of thousands of websites and let you export the whole thing in a CSV. So Scrapebox is an awesome option for this type of thing, because it's just does it on such a huge scale. And there's actually a lot of other scrapers out there. Um, if you just do a Google search for free Google SERP scraper, the goal is just to get a tool that can let you download all the websites that show up for a search like this, plumber, whatever target market you're targeting, that'll let you download all of those websites, and then that will be the list of websites that you can import right here. You just make sure that the file only has the list of websites in it. You have to delete all the other columns. Make sure it's a CSV, and this software can deal with any file that can come out of any kind of a free Google SERP scraper, or if you choose to use Scrapebox. I mean, really, Scrapebox is made for this, and so it's a really powerful tool to use. I'd encourage you to do it just to get Scrapebox. But if you're on a tight budget, you can do it for free in one of those other ways that I showed you. Then the end result is going to be a big list of phone numbers for whatever target market that you choose. Now just remember, you want to make sure that this target market is a type of a business that would use a cell number as their main business number. We have a lot of videos on Scrapebox here in the members area if you want to buy Scrapebox and do it. If you have any questions about it, we can answer them in the thread, or I can point you in the right direction as far as how to do it with Scrapebox. That's probably going to be your most powerful option, but you can also use SEO Quake or an other free Google SERP scraper. You might even have one already on your hard drive if you've done other types of activities like this. All you need is a big, huge list of websites that are targeted to the market that you're going for. All right, this is the obtaining numbers video for the phone call generator system, and I'm going to show you a few ways you can obtain these numbers 100% for free. Now, there's a whole art to purchasing lists, and those of you that are watching this that have a call center and really want to scale this up to getting, hundreds or thousands of calls per day, you might need to purchase numbers in a list. But I'm not going to cover that right now. I'm going to focus more on folks that are needing to get their numbers for free. You can still get a large number of numbers for free just with the tools here that we're giving you as a part of this package. Now, the first place where I like to get phone numbers is Yelp. And one of the reasons for that is that the software that we use to scrape Yelp to get the phone numbers also allows you to actually upload the exact same file, the file of scraped numbers, and it will actually go out and send those businesses a automated message through this little message this business link right here that many of the businesses on Yelp have. And this is an example of what it looks like, what the software does. The software will actually message. This is actually a little Ethiopian market that my family likes to go to get Ethiopian food and stuff. We have a daughter we adopted from Ethiopia, so you can see they've got to message this business. You can also see there how frequently they respond to messages. So you can actually, as you're evaluating this market, you can go into Yelp and you can see how soon, how frequently do these business owners monitor their Yelp inbox. And so it's a great way to do it all within one thing. You call the number they have listed on Yelp, and then you leave a voicemail there, and then you also then follow up with our software and with a private message saying, hey, did you get my message? Call me back or message me back. And then it also makes it really simple because once they've messaged you back, you can just click right the message that comes to you. You can just click right on that message and it'll take you back to the business's page there, and you know exactly what number to call to get a hold of them if they want to talk to you. Or you can go back and forth on Yelp, or you can do it via email or whatever. So the software here is pretty simple, and basically it has a couple different sections. First of all, you're going to need to log into Yelp to get that option of being able to message the businesses, but you don't have to log into Yelp to. If you click on Advanced Scraper to use the scraper, you don't have to click. You don't have to be logged in to scrape. And really, Yelp doesn't seem at this point, the point of recording this video, Yelp doesn't seem to have too many limits in place as far as scraping their site. The main limit is that you can usually only scrape about 1,000 businesses per scrape. So what I usually do is I'll just go 1,000 per city. So I'll target, say, 5 cities and do them one by one. And just now this drop down will let you scrape more than, so there's 10 businesses per page, and you go down here and you pick 100, and that'll be 1,000 businesses get scraped in one session. Now the software will let you go more than that, but it doesn't. Yelp, when the software was created, actually you could get tens of thousands of businesses off Yelp, but now they limit it to 1,000 per search. So you're not going to get more than 1,000. So you could just make that drop down be 100, and put your city, and then put your keyword. And Yelp already has the businesses organized, which is really nice. So then that allows you to actually make sure that you're actually getting plumbers. If you're using other kinds of tools, sometimes the businesses aren't organized as well. So even though you might put plumbers in, you might not get a list of 1,000 plumbers. And then you just start scraping the businesses right here. And when the software is done, it will automatically save a file to your desktop with all those businesses scraped. Now you can actually save at any point during the process. You can just save a file of the businesses that it has scraped so far. So even while it's in process, you can do that, and that's a great feature that you can just at any point, if you decide, hey, I've got 500, that's enough. I want to let the scraper keep going, but I'm going to save the businesses that I've got, and we're going to start working on those. So it's a little feature there, and then you get all those phone numbers, and you're going to get a CSV file with all the phone numbers that you can use in the other video where I show you actually how to do the voicemail drop. Um, you can you can do that there. Now, I'd encourage you, when you're doing your scrape, don't log into Yelp, because there's no reason for them to associate all that activity with your specific account. And you can actually use, with this software, you can actually use HMA. So if anybody uses HMA, you can use HMA to change your IP during the scrape, and that will help kind of ease, the number of searches that Yelp is seeing come from a single IP, if you want to do that, if you ever have any trouble with that. And then there's also the message poster, which is actually posting messages to that exact same list. I'm going to cover that in another video, but I just wanted to show you that. You do need to be logged in to do that. And there's a review submitter, which actually you can do this, but this is for a totally different technique. We actually use this software for a lot of other things, but this would be more for like building up a Yelp account that you want to use for reputation management purposes, and so you put a lot of reviews into that account, so you can use that account for other reputation management activities. So you can ignore that tab, but these two tabs are what you're going to be using in this, and specifically the scraper is what you're going to use to get those phone numbers. Now again, you want to think about, do these phone numbers, or are these businesses likely to use cell phones as their business phone number? And you can actually do a test scrape of, say, sometimes I'll do a test scrape of maybe like 20 pages or so, so like 200 numbers, and I'll upload those into the voicemail drop system, which I'm going to show you in another video, and we'll just upload them, and it'll let you upload them for free, and just scan the list, and it'll let you know how many mobile numbers you have. So that can kind of let you know, is this a niche or a target market that I actually want to pursue with this technique, or are there not enough cell phones on the list? Usually you'll have some, but you'll see it's a real small percentage for some business types, and for other business types you'll notice that a high percentage of those business owners are using cell phones as their business phone. It also helps you to know, to get sort of a target for how many businesses you have to scrape. So let's say you do a test. Let's say you do a test run of 100, just to make the math simple, and you go 10 pages, so that'll get you 100 phone numbers off of Yelp, and then you upload those into the system again, which I'll show you in another video, and it shows you that 15 out of 100 numbers are cell phones. Okay, so that lets you know that if your goal is to do a voicemail drop to 1,000 numbers, that lets you know that you're going to need to scrape, 7,000 numbers or so, just to get enough cell phone numbers out of that list. So sometimes it's good to do a short-term scrape and just see what percentage are cell phones, just to make sure you're on the right track. So that's the Yelp scraper. And again, the advantage of this is when you do your follow-up messages, you can actually use the same software, and actually the file that this software generates when it's finished with the scrape, you can actually just upload that exact same file right here with this button, and it'll find those Yelp businesses and send them a message. So it kind of works in one simple process if you do it on Yelp. And the other thing is, Yelp business owners tend to be pretty active, and so if you're selling marketing services, a lot of these Yelp business owners might be up for it. That they are active, and if you are selling Yelp related services, which we've tested out, prospecting people actually on Yelp to do things like Yelp reputation management, you could do Yelp ranking, Yelp optimization, and if you are, obviously if you're getting the numbers from Yelp, then you know that these are businesses actually on Yelp actively seeking business help. Now, this isn't the only software you can use to scrape and get obtained phone numbers. I'm going to show you some other options. I want to show you an awesome tool that is 100% free and has a lot of powerful features for internet marketing, and that tool is import.io. Now, you may have seen this if you have my multi-location SEO course. Um, we use this a little bit in that course, but I want to show you some other features and applications of this tool that are really powerful. And that tool is import.io. Now, import.io is basically a site scraper. Oversimplifying what it is, but basically any web page that has any kind of CSS or any kind of data formatted in any way on a web page or on a website, you can basically grab that data and it will turn it into a spreadsheet for you. So it's a great way if you're into lead generation, if you are doing research, if you are doing content generation, all types of things you can use. Now, if you're an advanced type person, you use like Ahrefs or something like that, um, or if you're a scrapebox expert, things like that, you might think this is not that impressive. But I find this to be even easier than Scrapebox for certain types of things. And I don't know how to program like in Python or anything like that. So this is a great way. I don't have to go to Freelancer and get anybody to do a scrape for me, even on a fairly large site. And this tool will do it for me. So let me just do a couple applications. Let's say you were on Warrior Forum or even like Black Hat World, and you wanted to pull down, like, say, every thread title and how many views it got and how many replies it received, say like in the last 24 hours or something. You could copy this URL right here and paste it into import.io, and import.io would turn all the information on this page into a spreadsheet for you that you could then sort alphabetically or sort by highest replies or whatever. It'll even spider multiple pages if you've got a site that has multiple pages of information that you want to pull down. Let me give you another great example. Let's say you're on Reddit and you're in like a certain subreddit. I'm just going to do it from the homepage. But let's say you're looking for what are the highest trending stories in a certain subreddit. Let's say you have a subreddit in your niche that you're using um, to get traffic from it or something like that. Well, the research becomes very easy if you go to import.io. You just paste it there and you click try it out, and you'll see that this site will extract all the data on the page and turn it into a spreadsheet for you. So you can see here we've got um, all the information that you would find on the Reddit page, but now it's sorted into a spreadsheet format. So I'll show you, scroll over here and you can see really useful over all the way on the right, all the different columns that it's pulled down. You can see the comments um, number, and you could sort that. You can see when it was submitted, how many hours it took to get that number of comments. You can see the score in the number of likes. It even will pull down the thumbnail and the link to the thumbnail. Really powerful. Now, there are going to be some sites, for instance, if you have a list of Yelp results like this and you try to put that in, let me show you what happens. It sometimes it won't get any of the data, and sometimes you'll get a error like this, and it lets you download the free app. Now the free app is really powerful because if their automatic data extraction doesn't work on a certain website, you can actually download their free software onto your computer, and you can make like a custom scraper, and it's very easy to do, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Let me pull up the software right now. Just going to open that up. And again, this would be for any type of situation where the automatic extraction that they do on their website doesn't work. So what you're going to do is you're going to click New, and then it's going to ask you, how do you want to extract the data? Do you want to use magic? Now, magic just basically means it's going to be automatic. Now, if their website didn't work, it's unlikely that that you want to use magic. If you already tried it on the website and that they weren't able to pull any data down, or maybe they weren't able to pull the correct data that you were looking for, um, then you need to use the extractor. So we're going to click Start Extractor. And then basically you want to go to the page. I'm going to paste that in. Again, it was a Yelp result that we were doing. We're going to click Enter. And once the page completely loads, then we're going to turn on the extraction. Alright, now the page is loaded. We're going to turn it on. It's going to reload the page, and then it's going to allow you to name your columns, basically, and click on the page the data that you want their tool to grab. So I'm going to start with phone number. Let's do this. Phone. Click enter. And then it says click or highlight. And so then what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down on the page, and we're going to find, I'm going to scroll down towards the middle so I don't get any ads. You can see it'll highlight different things asking you what do you want to scrape, how many reviews they have, actual review text. Do you want to scrape the name of the business? Since we're doing phone, again, it could scrape like a whole section like this, but since we're doing phone, we're just going to click phone, the phone number there, and it's going to ask me how many rows are there going to be. We're going to do many rows because we're not just doing one row of data. We're going to scrape every single carpet cleaner and get their phone number off of Yelp. And then we're going to click many rows. And then if it is scraping correctly, you'll see your data here will look like it's supposed to look, and you'll know, okay, well, we've got this set up properly. All the phone numbers are scraped properly. So then we're going to do a new column. Let's do business name. Name. Click enter, and then we're going to do the same thing. Scroll down towards the middle of the page. Again, a lot of these sites will have ads at the top, which will be a different format, so you want to make sure you only get the info you're looking for. We're going to click that, and then you can see that data populate down all the names of the businesses, and so on. So you can see that's just one example of the type of data that can be done. And then over here on the right, you're going to click Done, and then it's going to let you name your they call it an API, so this will save it for you so that every time you open the software, you don't have to redo this every time. You can, let's say every day you're trying to, say you're you're targeting people on Yelp, let's say, for instance, and are calling them, or you have a call center or something like that. You want to be able to reopen this scrape later and without having to redo this whole process. That allows you to save it. So we're going to say Yelp, and then any Yelp page now that you put in will be scraped by this. Oops. Okay, I've been nailing Yelp a lot lately, so I think they might be blocking or something like that. I'm not sure, but anyway, you get an idea for how it works. And then basically, if you want to do more, build more APIs, over here you just click New, and you can do a new scrape of a new site. Again, you don't have to redo Yelp. We already did Yelp, but you can create a new API for a new site. Scroll over here, click New, use Extractor, and again, you can follow the process again. for your next website. For instance, let's say that you want to scrape a search results page. Now, Google currently the import.io is having issues with Google, but you can do other search engines, and you can go through the same process, and you could scrape information from the page. So let's say we're going to do a new column, and we're going to do title, okay, and then we're going to click on the title, and then like before, we're going to choose many rows. And you can see there, now we've got the title. And let's say we're going to do hyperlink, or let's just do URL. And then I'm going to scroll down, I'm going to click on the URL. Oops. And see if it worked. So it didn't. It didn't do it right. So you have to mess with it. Let's do let's see here. So it'll let you select every little part and scrape that, and you have to mess with it depending on the page. Again, if you have Scrapebox, you might say, "Oh, it's no big deal. I could do this with Scrapebox." But if you don't have Scrapebox, or if you're not as technically inclined for using Scrapebox, um, this is great. The other thing is that if you don't want to use Scrapebox's custom data grabber, which is a little bit complicated to set up, this is a much easier option to do. All right, now back to the Yelp one. I just want to give you one more thing that you can use that's powerful. You can see it's got the business name and the phone listed. That's just a simple scrape. Um, but let's go back to editing the data. So I'm going to go back to this tab. And over here, I'm going to click on Edit. And then we're going to actually edit this again. One really powerful feature that you can do if you are having trouble clicking around, like I was in the last example with Yahoo, is you can ask it to I'll show you in just a sec. You can actually ask it to suggest data that's on the page for you. You can see after it loads, then this blue button suggest data will appear. And you can click suggest data and it'll actually create a bunch of columns for you, and you can actually even delete these columns out. So if you can't figure out how to get it to grab a certain piece of data, try the suggest data thing, because it might grab more for you, and it grabs more in the suggest data um, button than it does on the website. So you still get a lot more data out of it than you would trying to scrape this exact same page on the website. You can see here it has review count, category listing. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in here that won't make any sense at all if you're not a developer, which you can just delete out. But there's also a lot of data you can see that it will scrape for you. So you can see the number of reviews, the review count, the business name, even has a link to it to the image. And then if you don't want a certain column in your spreadsheet, you can just delete it out like that. And you can just delete all the meaningless garbage out until you get down to just the data that you're actually interested in scraping, um, like that. And that'll help you to build your scraper. So the next time you're trying to grab data, generate leads, do research on a forum. This is really useful for identifying like high traffic forum threads to post a comment on to get traffic. It's also really useful for grabbing any kind of data that's in like a table format on a website, like a list of businesses or a list of websites or a list of backlinks, anything like that, like the example of Reddit. It's really useful on social media sites where you're trying to do research. It'll do multiple pages for you, so you could scrape like hundreds of pages on a website, and grab, like for instance, I was last week I was grabbing data off the Yellow Pages. I was able to scrape massive numbers, like thousands of leads off of yellowpages.com. So there's a lot you can do with this. Get out there, play around with it, and it'll save you a lot of time. And again, some of the stuff that this will do, Scrapebox can't do unless you are able to really use that custom data grabber that Scrapebox has. But this is a lot simpler than Scrapebox's custom data grabber. Um, Give it a shot. This is a video on obtaining numbers. We're in this part of the process up here in the upper left, obtaining numbers for our ringless voicemail drop. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to scrape numbers using my free Easy Local Cache software, which you can get to by going to easylocalcache.com/software. And in this software, the way that you can get the numbers is, first of all, you want to figure out what target market you're going for. Again, you want to think about, is this a business niche or a target market where they're likely to use cell phones as their main business number? And then you can use this software to actually scrape for the businesses by putting the keywords in here on the left, and you can put those keywords in that'll help match you up with businesses in that specific market. So say, obviously, like we've tested it out with plumbers. I showed you guys that in another video. You would put plumbing, plumber, rotor-rooter, these types of keywords. You want to get those types, drain, um, openers and stuff like that. You want to put all those keywords in, and you want to get a list of businesses there that for each keyword that are ranking, and this is going to specifically give you businesses that are ranking in the local pack for those keyword phrases that match that specific target market. So it's going to scrape this local pack, and it might look different. Google keeps changing what it looks like, but it's going to scrape this local pack and pull all this data for you, including the phone numbers, and put it into a little matrix for you, where you can actually download all the information for that specific thing. So say this is specifically real estate attorneys, and then all this information is going to be populated into this little chart here, including the phone number. And then down here at the lower left, you can see you can download the CSV, and that will include the phone numbers that you can put into your ringless voicemail drop. Now, the nice thing about this is you can specifically target business owners that have certain things wrong with their local, their plus local page, according to what you see in the matrix there. So you see over here, some of these folks here don't have any reviews, and that will show up. Or they don't have a website. Like this one doesn't even have a website. So you could pick, I'm going to target people that don't have a website, that are ranking in any local pack in the real estate attorney market, and I'm going to target them. And my voicemail is going to be, hey, I noticed you don't have a website associated with your Google local page, and if you want me, I can fix that. Or you might say on your voicemail, I noticed you don't have any images on your Plus Local page. That's affecting your rank. Or I noticed you don't have any reviews. We specialize in reputation management. Whatever you want to do, but you can actually download all the information from the Easy Local Cache software, and you can specifically target in the voicemail drop that you do a specific thing that they're missing. So you might say, hey, I noticed that you don't have any backlinks to your website, or I noticed that you haven't even verified. I mean, you can even target business owners that have not verified their plus local page. You can say, notice you haven't verified your plus local page, and can I specialize in this. Give me a call back. This will affect the amount of traffic you're getting on Google. Obviously it's just off the top of my head, but you can see you can actually specialize. Say in a niche like the real estate attorney niche, you can specialize your voicemail drop to match the specific data that my free software is giving you that they are missing, and offer that. You could even offer it for free. Like, hey, notice you didn't have any images on your Plus Local page. I can I can fix that for free. It'll make your Plus Local page look a lot better. Call me back. Phone number. Now all you need to do is click on that little download CSVs link on the lower left, and you'll be able to download that data that you're seeing in this matrix here, and you can sort it, and you can do whatever you want. You can open multiple tabs, search 10, 20 keyword phrases and get a couple of hundred numbers there to target in your ringless voicemail drop. Again, you can get that software easy local cap. Here we're going to talk about actually setting up your campaign now. You've obtained your numbers, you've recorded your voicemail, and decided on the pitch, your target market, and everything. And now it's time to upload the numbers and send out the broadcast. So what I recommend is this company called Leads Rain, and this is the one that I'm going to focus on for this specific technique. Now, this is not the only voicemail drop company. There are others that offer this. I like Leads Range specifically because of how inexpensive their voicemail drops are. There's other companies out there that offer similar pricing, but usually they require a massive campaign in order to get that pricing. So, like, say for instance, if you wanted 5-cent drops, you would need to do, like 10,000 drops or something like that. The nice thing about Leads Range is you can do smaller drops. You can do smaller voicemail drop campaigns, and you will still get their low pricing. There's no minimum per campaign. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go over and click on the sign up button. This might have changed a little bit if their layout changed, but you're just going to sign up like this. You're going to click on their ringless voicemail, and you're going to sign up. Now, this phone number does not have to be the phone number that you're using in your campaigns. That's actually just a phone number where they can reach you. If anything comes up with your campaigns or any technical issues they need to call you about, or questions about your audio file or anything like that, that's what you'd want to put in for that. And then you're going to sign up. They're going to send you an email with your login information, and that should have information about the specific web page that you need to click on for their ringless voicemail service. Now, if that email does not contain a link to their ringless voicemail service, you need to get on chat with them. They're on chat almost all the time. I use their chat all the time. And you just click on chat support right here, and you just say, hey, I just signed up. Where's the URL for the ringless voicemail service? And they will copy and paste that to you. Again, their chat is open from early in the morning till late at night, in the USA at least. So if you're in within those hours, even if you're somewhere else in the world, if you're in those hours, they're almost always there, really active on the chat. It's a great way to contact them. Probably better than a phone call, though you could call them, but the chat is really open for a lot. So we use that chat all the time for our campaigns, just helping us with various parts of the campaign, etc. The first thing you're going to want to do after you have your account all set is go to leadsrain.com/billing, and it's going to ask you to log in with that username and password they're going to send you. And then once you log in, you want to actually buy credit on the system, okay? And here's the amounts that you can put in to the system here. They accept PayPal, and If you want to put less in, I would just ask them. They might let you charge your amount with less than 100. I mean, I just charged up 100 because I knew I was going to be using at least that much. Over time, you can use this. Um, it's basically just putting credits in your, putting money in your account that slowly they debit that amount as you do your broadcasts. So maybe, we put our say we put 100 in there, I think like a month ago, and we've been using that. I think there's still some of that first 100 left in there. We've used a lot of it up, but it's basically like a prepaid system for your drops, your voicemail drops. They're really cheap. It's only 5 cents per voicemail drop. And that's only for a successful voicemail actually being left. So you figure, if you leave a voicemail on 100 numbers, that's still only $5, okay? And believe me, 100 numbers, I mean, we've had times when a drop of 100 numbers generated 22 calls, 23, 25 calls, all within a couple of hours. So, really, really cheap. One of the cheapest ways that you can reach your prospects. You can easily turn $100 into tens of thousands of dollars because of how cheap it is. Again, if the voicemail goes out and it doesn't actually successfully leave a voicemail in the system, you don't get charged. So once you've logged in and put some credit in your account, again, if you want to do less than 100, I'd encourage you send them a chat, see if they'll do 50 or 20 or something like that. Then you want to go over and log into the actual ringless voicemail part. Now, I would encourage you, don't click on this log into dialer button, okay? Because the ringless voicemail area is a separate area of their site. So if they don't specifically include that in your welcome email, then you want to get on the chat and ask them what that URL is. I'd give it to you, but it seems like it changes every so often, so I don't want to confuse everybody. So just get on the chat and ask them, hey, I need the login URL for the ringless voicemail part. Again, if you click into this dialer part, you're going to get into a different area. If you click log into dialer right here, you're going to get into an area that's more for broadcasting. They also do like broadcast dialing, where you could record a message and it'll be broadcast live, so people pick up their phone and they hear your recorded message. If you want to test that out, that's fine, but that's not the topic of this training. So don't click on log into dialer. Again, you got to go to a separate area, the ringless voicemail area, and that URL should be either emailed to you or you can get it on their live chat support. So I'm going to log into the ringless voicemail admin. I'm going to show you how to start your campaigns. Okay, the first thing you want to do is you want to start a campaign. So you're going to click on Add Campaign, and you're going to type in your campaign information there. Okay, and then I would make this inactive just because we don't want the campaign to actually go out until you're ready. So I would just make this one inactive to start. Hopper level, leave that at 1, and the auto dial level I would also leave at 1, unless you are a call center or you have a lot of folks ready to take calls. 1 is probably what you want. And then local call time, this is probably the best call time to put in. That means the call time of the actual prospects. Okay, so it's not your local time, it's the people you're contacting, their local time. Okay, then we're going to click Add Campaign, that big blue button. Okay, we got success, added the campaign, and this number right here is the number, whenever you're on chat support, you want to refer to that number for the campaign, because that helps them to identify it quickly if you need help with anything. Alright, then you're going to go over here on the left, and you are going to add a list. So this is, you're adding a list of mobile numbers, okay? So this is powerful because you can you can broadcast to this list multiple times if you want. You can also keep adding numbers to the list if you want to make the list bigger and bigger. So let's say you've got 100 numbers now, and then tomorrow you get 100 more. You want to add the second 100. You can add those to any existing list, and it'll remove the duplicates and just make your list bigger. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a list. That's the next step. We're going to call this, just for the sake of this, we're going to call this sample lists. And then you're going to attach that list to the campaign that you want to attach it to. In this case, it's the sample campaign. And I'm going to keep this list inactive. And then we're going to click Add New List. So we've got the list added. Then we go over here on the left and we are going to upload mobile. And that means we're going to upload the actual list of numbers. So again, we're going to add the numbers we're uploading right now, we're going to add to this sample training list that we just created. Okay, so and the nice thing about this is if you get more numbers later, you can add more numbers to this list if you want. You can keep growing your list bigger and bigger over time. Phone code, I'm going to choose, it gives you all the different countries where you could do these kind of drops. I'm going to choose USA, obviously, because that's where I'm scraping my numbers from. But if you're from a different country and you're doing drops in a different country, you'd pick a different number. Duplicate check. I always check for duplicates by phone list ID. You could also check for duplicates in a campaign. So let's say you have a campaign that you're using over and over, but you don't want to send the voicemail to people that you've already sent it to. Then you could check for duplicates by campaign. But I'm more interested in duplicates just within this one list. So I usually check for duplicates by phone in list ID. And then country code and area code only is what I'm interested in. I would use that as your setting, and then we're going to choose our file. I'm going to choose snow removal.csv. So this is a list of snow removal companies. And I'm going to click open. There we go. And then I'm going to click submit. And what this does is, and you can actually, well, I'll talk about that in a second, but you can see here total records 609, mobile records 116, not mobile records 209, bad records 265. So a bad record would be like the number is malformed, or it's incomplete, or it accidentally has a letter in it, or it's not a real phone number, something like that, or blank lines, things like that. Um, Non-mobile numbers would be landlines, VoIP, anything like that. We've got 116 actual cell phones there out of total of 609. So that was a pretty bad list. You can see I've got a huge percentage of that list was just blank lines or messed up characters. I didn't check this list at all before I uploaded it. It's just a sample I wanted to show you. One thing about this that you can do, I'll just say, is you can actually create a list if you want that is just for testing. So you would go here just like you did before and you click add list, and then you name that list testing list. Okay? And that would be a list that you use just to upload lists of phone numbers to see if those phone numbers are mobile numbers or not. And they wouldn't be, say like I showed you in another video, say you're scraping a bunch of numbers, but you're not sure. Maybe if you're choosing a market, let's say you're choosing grocery store owners, you're not sure. Do grocery store owners use cell phones or landlines? I'm not really sure. So you could just do a test scrape of like 100 numbers and upload them to your test list, and then all the numbers would just be piling up in that list. It really wouldn't matter. You would never really use that list. It would just be a list you're using to test so you can get these numbers here, because this is a really useful tool that lets you know what percentage of those numbers are actual mobile numbers. So that's just a little trick that we do. We have a separate list that we use just to test it out. Okay, now back to our campaign. So we've got our list, we've got our numbers uploaded to our list, okay? And so now it's time to go back and actually set up our campaign for broadcasting. But before we do, we have to upload our audio file, okay? So the next step is going to be prompt file. So what you're going to do is you're going to go over here and you're going to click on add. and you're going to browse for your file. That would be the file that you recorded with the Audacity software that I showed you in the other video, or any kind of recorder. It can be an MP3 or a WAV. And you're going to click submit, and then that file will be in your list of voicemails that you can use. You can see I've got a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different voicemails that we're using for different campaigns. You can reuse these if you want multiple times, but that voicemail file has to actually be in there before you finish up your campaign. So once you've got your voicemail file uploaded, then you're going to go in here and you're going to click View Campaigns. You're going to find the campaign that you set up at the beginning, that I showed you at the beginning of the video, and you're going to go over here and click Edit. And this is the final, these are the final steps for getting your campaign out there and actually getting it going. So here we are. We've got all this set up. It's inactive at this point. At this point, you can make it active if you're really ready for it to go. All right. I'm going to leave mine inactive for now, though, because this is just a test. List order, I would do down. Just do down. It really doesn't matter unless you want them to call through the list in a certain way. I just have them go down the list. You know, if you've got better numbers at the top of the list for some reason and you want to change the order that they actually do the calling, hopper level, leave that as it is. Campaign caller ID, okay? This is the caller ID that the people are going to see on the voicemail. So they're going to see they got a voicemail from such and such a number. This is really important. Say if you want people to text you back, you got to make sure this is a caller ID where they could text you back. So you can add the phone number that you want them to call or that you want them to see on the caller ID. Make sure that's a working number, and then you can add that caller ID to it. I'm just going to add here. Okay. And then I'm going to choose that caller ID that I just put in. Auto dial level, we're going to leave as it is. Voicemail file, you're going to choose the voicemail file that you uploaded earlier. I'm just going to pick this voicemail file that I've used before. And then we're going to click Save Changes. Then we're going to go to Section 2. Dial statuses, I usually leave all this stuff the same. Local call time, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I don't usually mess with that, or resetting the hopper. I don't usually mess with that. If you need more local call times, like for some reason you need to leave voicemails in the middle of the night, you'll have to request that from support. But again, their chat window, you'll notice as you're in this whole process over here on the right, their chat window is always there, and they're almost always there ready to help. So, you know, they're really responsive that way. Alright, so don't change anything there. And then we've got our campaign list all set. You can see we've got 116 leads in that list that we uploaded, that the list of snow removal companies, and we're ready to go. And then we click Save Changes. Now at this point, the point of recording this video, they like to check over your campaigns before they go out. So when you're finished, now later on, if you're watching this video in a few months from now, you might be able to completely do this self-serve without them checking. But at this point, they check over all the campaigns. It only takes them about 30 seconds to do, and they're almost always on that live chat. So what you're going to need to do, once you get these changes, once you get these settings all how you want them, you're going to click Save Changes. You're going to go over here and change your campaign status to active, and then save it. And then once you're ready to go, you want to go over here and actually you want to copy your campaign number, and you're going to go over here and just type them a message. Whoops. You're going to type this a message like this to them: I'm ready for campaign, and then refer to the campaign number to go out. Please start sending voicemails, and they'll jump on there right away and activate it. They're really quick and really good with that. Again, if you're watching this, you know, a few months from now, you'll probably see a button in here in the campaigns area where you can just do it 100% self-serve. I talked to the guys over there at Leeds Rain, and that is something they would like to have. But I think there's a lot of checking that goes into these campaigns to make sure that they're really ready to go. And so they're actually needing to write some programs to check all that stuff in an automated way. But at this point, they just check it manually. It only takes a few seconds. It's really not a big deal. Um, and then your campaign is going out. Now, as your campaign is going out, you can actually um, go over here to your calling report, and you can choose the campaign that you're doing, choose the date, which is going to be the date, and you will see in real time. I'll just do this. Do this here. Um, do the limo driver one. I'll talk to you guys about this in another video actually. And you click view report, and you'll be able to see in real time the calls going out. So you'll see these numbers, and then if you just hit refresh in your browser, you'll see these numbers going up. It'll tell you how many numbers they tried to call that failed. And again, this would be like a malformed number or a voicemail that's full, or the number is actually doesn't go anywhere. It'll tell you how many of those. You're not charged for these. And then it'll tell you how many numbers, how many voicemails actually have been left in real time. And as you refresh your browser, you'll see those numbers going up. So it's a great way to sit there and monitor the campaigns. It can also, if you're monitoring the phones, it can kind of help you to know, where are we at in this campaign? Have most of them gone out already? Say if you've gotten like 15 calls and you see, wow, I've only half of my voicemails have gone out so far, then you need to make sure and plant yourself there at the phone and make sure you're ready to answer it. If you see that all the voicemails have gone out, you can see from your total, if the total number of phone numbers that you uploaded, if you see that they've all gone out, and you notice that your phone calls are starting to slow down, then you can either run another campaign, or you can go make yourself a pot of coffee and take a break before you run the next campaign. So these are real-time stats. You can watch your campaign, your voicemails being dropped in real time. And again, if you have any questions, the guys at Leeds Rain are really helpful. The best way is really just to do this chat with them, because then you can copy paste reference numbers and campaign numbers and any kind of details that you need without having to spell them out on the phone. You can also call them, but I find the chat's really helpful just because they're there all the time on the chat. Once you've done your campaign and your voicemails have gone out, you've probably gotten some phone calls already. Don't stop there. Follow my instructions here to do follow-ups. This is really, really important. Sometimes you can get just as many calls or responses out of your follow-ups as you did from your original broadcast. You've already gone through the trouble of creating a pitch, thinking through it, finding a target market, scraping the numbers, paying for a voice broadcast or a voicemail drop campaign there. Take advantage of that and do follow-ups. I'm going to show you a couple ways to do that. This is really important because even if people heard your voicemail but they didn't respond, maybe it was on their minds to respond and they just got caught up and busy with other things. This is very, very common, and the more follow-ups you do, the better. Now, but let's talk about just at minimum doing one follow-up. You'll say you wait a day or two, and then you send a follow-up. I'm going to show you a couple ways to do that. One way is simply by just going into Leeds Rain and just creating a brand new campaign with the same list. So you just do add campaign, you would do a new prompt file, a new voicemail that maybe it's the same one you could do, or maybe do a new one. Just so that it doesn't sound like you're sending an automated voicemail. Because, hey, I called you a couple days ago, about this. I didn't hear back, and I just want to make sure you were, call me back, whatever. Just mention, hey, I left you a voicemail yesterday. I didn't hear back from you. and just do another campaign to the exact same list. Um, and that could be powerful. Now, if you don't want to pay for another broadcast, you can follow up in various ways. If you got your original list of numbers from a Yelp scrape using the Yelp software that I showed you in another video, you can use the exact same software, and I mentioned this in the other video, you can use the exact same software to do a follow-up. Now I encourage you to make your follow-up be something really simple. Don't make it complicated and long. Make it be as short as, hey, I noticed that you didn't respond to my voicemail, or hey, did you get my voicemail I left for you yesterday about XYZ? Call me back, and then your phone number or your email address. It's better not your email address, because sometimes Yelp looks for email addresses for people trying to communicate outside the Yelp system. But you could put your phone number in there, and you could say message me back or call me, and then the phone number. You will get responses back. Now, a couple things about this software. Um, First of all, you have to be logged into Yelp to do a follow-up with the software. And I would encourage you to create a couple Yelp accounts just for following up with people, just in case your Yelp accounts get banned. You don't want to get in trouble with your main Yelp account if you have a main Yelp account that you use. So I would do a separate Yelp account, and I would just make it the name whoever, I've used pseudonyms or done campaigns for clients where I recorded the voicemail but I used their name. So then in that case I would create a Yelp account under their name and do a couple reviews on that Yelp account so that it's not completely empty. Do a photo, flesh it out a little bit. Do some thumbs ups on other people's reviews, a little activity on the Yelp account, and make the Yelp account be, like say you have a client in Washington State, make the Yelp account be from Washington State. And then also I would do all of your Yelp activity through HMA, an IP address through HMA in Washington State. And if you need any details on that, just post in the forum. I can point you to some resources on how to actually do that. But that means, as far as Yelp is concerned, this Yelp account that you're using for messaging is from the same state as the people that you're sending messages to. That'll help keep it under the radar so it won't look so weird. And then all the activity you do in that Yelp account, you want to use the one IP address. Only one IP address. Don't log in through your home IP address when you're following up with this Yelp software, because Yelp will ban you if they can see multiple accounts all from the same IP address. They'll just ban your whole IP address. So you want to keep your main IP address that you use for your business or your computer safe. And if you have any questions about that, post it in the forum here, and I can point you to resources on hiding your identity. It's not that hard, but you do have to be a little bit careful. It's not that complicated. But we have videos on all that. Now, second thing, so you're going to have to log in. You're going to put your username and password there. You're going to click log in. Once you're logged in, you're going to click on the business message poster. You're going to choose how many businesses are on that original file that you used when you scraped the businesses. And let's say it's 100. Then you're going to choose the file, and you can just choose the exact same file that was the output file when you did your scraping. When it made you save it there on your desktop, use the exact same file. And that way all the exact same people that got the voicemail drops will get these messages. You choose the exact same file, and then I would encourage you, with this delay, I would go all the way up in the thousands. So you're talking about 15 minutes, between this one even be, I think, 2,000 seconds. I don't know the math in my head, but maybe half an hour or something. Do a massive delay between messages. That's the way you're going to be able to keep this thing safe. If you do, like I've tried, I know in here he's got the ability to do small delays, but really if you do a small delay, I think that's a big trigger for Yelp for mass messaging through their system, which they don't like. So I would just do a huge delay here and just run it all night. Like before you shut down your office computer, start the bot, let it run, and just let it go all night, and just forget about it. And it'll go real slow. It'll have a huge delay between the messages, but you'll be safe. The other thing you can do, which I encourage you to do, so that you can avoid getting banned, is to use spin text. This message that you send out can be spun, which means use a certain code that will enable this bot will actually, every time a message is sent, it will do a new version of it with synonyms and different words. And the way you can calculate that is you can actually look here at this spin text tool, and this will help you to test your spin text to see if it's accurate. And you can actually use this website to create the spin text, so you don't have to do it yourself. So what I'll do is I'll say, so it says here, place your keyword on a line, and then each word that you want to spin, you put a blank line between them. So I would say hello, hi, um, uh, good day, and then you click spin, and it creates the spin text for you. Okay, so you're going to copy that. Put it in a text file here. And then we're going to go, did you get, did you hear, did you receive, spin. We're going to copy that, paste it. See that? So it says then each time a message is sent, the software is going to spin it a different version. So the first one will say, hello, did you get? The second one will say, hi, did you hear? The third one will say, good day, did you receive? And then you're going to just continue on with the sentence. My mail, my message, etc. And you're going to click spin, and then it'll do that. And then and so on. You see what I'm saying? And then when you're done with it, then put it all in the spin text tool, and you click this spin button, and it'll give you the result, just to make sure that the code that you put in isn't creating some kind of weird sentences. And you just click spin a bunch of times to make sure your spin text makes sense. And then you copy and paste this entire code here that you generated. Right here, you copy and paste the entire code into the message box right here where it says enter your message here, and then the software will actually spin that each time a message is sent. That'll also help you to stay under the spam radar there with Yelp. So that's one awesome way that you can follow up a second time with the people that you left their voicemail. And the nice thing is it's not a real intense message. You're not really selling anything. It's personal. You're just saying, did you get my message? Did you get my voicemail? There's really no way they would know that this was not a one-on-one person just messaging them who actually called them manually and left them a voicemail the day before. So it's a great way to just have that personal touch, but yet in an automated fashion. Do it. It gets responses. It's an awesome way to follow up. Now this I'm going to just spend a minute on because this one's a little bit dicey depending on the country that you're in. You can, if you use Scrapebox or SEO Quake, some of those other tools that I showed you where you can actually scrape and you actually got email addresses along with the phone numbers, you could actually use some desktop software and just send them an email blast directly that says the same thing. Did you get my voicemail yesterday? Now, again, you got to be careful here because depending on the country that you're in, this could be illegal because it's unsolicited commercial email. And I'm not a lawyer, so you're going to have to consult with a specialist, an attorney on this to let you know the legalities of it. But that is another way that you could follow up via email is to find some email blaster software, some desktop software. Most services like MailChimp, One Shopping Cart, um, Infusionsoft, they're not going to let you just upload a list of emails that you scraped and then email them. So you're going to have to do it from your computer. So again, but just check on the legalities of it. This could be a way that you could follow up with them. Now, another powerful way that you can follow up, which I highly recommend, is this PyGambot. And what this PyGambot does is it actually messages your prospects using contact forms. And the nice thing, I said this in another video, but the nice thing about a contact form, like this one, which is actually one that's on my site, is that, now again, I'm not an attorney, so legal disclaimer, this is not legal advice, but as far as I know, this is outside the canned spam area. You don't have to worry as much about canned spam using a contact form because contact forms are used for so many different things, not only emailing. And the site owner can really make a contact form do whatever they want it to do. So you're basically just filling out forms on their website, and so it's not actually sending a direct email. Now again, this is not legal advice, but you're much safer using this PyGambot that will actually email massive numbers of contact forms. Now they actually have a free demo here. Now the free demo has limited functionality and it's not the best. If you're really strapped, you can try the free demo, but it doesn't have nearly as many features. Some people download the free demo and they don't get as much. Then they get discouraged and they say, "Oh, the software is not that good," because the demo is really nowhere near as good as the paid software. But you can download the free demo. You can also just buy it, and I will. If you buy it, I will rebate you your first month. So it's $49 a month because they actually have to constantly update it to make sure that it can properly identify contact forms. It has to go through here and figure out which information to put in each box, and they do a lot of updates. It's a really powerful software that does all kinds of things, even more than contact form messaging. But if you buy, I believe in this so much. I'll actually rebate you your first month if you do it. If you buy it, just you could just subscribe and then send me the receipt, and I will actually rebate you. Now, you can get this through there's a link directly below this video. You can just click on it and you can get this software. And check it out. Now, the way you would do this, the way you would use this for a 1-2 step is that you would actually do a message, and there's a lot of videos, instructional videos for how to actually use the software. But what you would do is you would base your whole campaign off of the PyGambot. And what you would do is you would use their scraper. So they actually have a scraper that you can do. You'd add the keywords right here that match the target market. So if you chose plumbers, you do plumbing, plumbers, sewer help, sewer router service, and you get all those in there. It would actually do the scraping for you, and it would scrape you phone numbers and websites where it can contact people. And so what you would do is you would go here over on the left after your first campaign that you do in the PyGambot. You would go into this area right here, but you would leave it all blank. So you would set up a normal messaging form like as if you were going to scrape and contact businesses through their contact forms, but you would leave all this information blank. And then what will happen is every time it tries to send a message, it will fail. The message won't go through because there won't be any information to post, but it will still scrape and get you a huge number of phone numbers. And you can just scroll over to the right, and you can see this is where your phone numbers will be, and you can click on that number, and you can actually get the phone numbers that you're going to use for your voicemail drop. Then, a couple of days after you do your voicemail drop, you're going to fire up your PyGambot again, and you're going to run the exact same campaign, okay? The exact same keywords, the exact same um, settings, but this time you're going to put the message in that I said, which is going to be, left you a voicemail yesterday, did you get it? Call me back, or whatever you want to put in your message. And then this software will actually go through, you're doing a brand new campaign with the exact same settings. So it's going to find all the same websites, and this time it's going to actually message them through their contact forms. But those will be the same websites that you found a couple days earlier where you scraped the phone numbers off of them. So this would be another powerful way to do a follow-up system. And this PyGambot, this is just one way that you can use the PyGambot for prospecting. I think once you get into it, you're probably you're going to be amazed. You're going to be using it for all types of other things. It's a huge scale. It works really well. I mean, if you're going to do any better than this, you would need to go all the way up and just use XRummer, which is a high end software that you can use for contact form messaging like this. But PyGambot is pretty much the best you can get without getting into some heavy duty programming and stuff like with XRummer. So I will, again, if you get this, I'll rebate you the cost of your first month for this software just to convince you to get it and to take action on this, because this will really help you a lot if you will go out there and just do it. But however you choose to do your follow-up, I really encourage you, don't only do one blast and leave it as is. Do follow-ups, whether it's through Yelp, through email, even hiring someone to manually message people one by one. Follow up with these folks. And it's really powerful if you just do a simple message that says, hey, I left you a voicemail, call me back, did you get my voicemail about XYZ, whatever it is. You will find this will powerfully increase your response rate. Sometimes you can double it or even more. And there's really, with all the solutions that I'm showing you, there's really no way that people can tell that you aren't just doing it one-on-one, which is part of the goal, that they'll think that you are just one-on-one contacting them personally. And that is what makes this whole technique so powerful. So get out there, do some campaigns, and get some clients. Highly encourage you to jump on this. It's one of the fastest ways that you can start an income coming on your own online business. Faster than any other method that I know is just getting out there, prospecting, and getting some clients under your belt so you can free yourself from the rat race and you don't have to work for someone else and be a slave to the 9 to 5. And let me know your results. Post them in the forum. I'd love to hear how it goes.